Hey, Collectibles here, and we're gonna look at Carnage issue 1. This is, you know what, I wasn't sure what to expect. I'm actually pleasantly surprised at what I found. Carnage issue 1, the comic book story, has been phenomenal. Let's go through it so you can get ahead and see if it's worth your time. I really do like Carnage as a character, and this comic book story is pretty good. Let's go through the reading and see how it read, see if it's worth your time, worth your money to continue reading, to continue to buy. So, love the cover. You can't go wrong with Carnage on the cover. Starts off with, you've got this huge explosion here, and then you've got Hydra Man in pain, and then you see a panel with Carnage there. So it's like when you first see this, it's kind of like, what is going on? Where are we at? And then you see that this portal that opened up is actually tearing apart the fabric of time and the atoms, and you can see that this person that was running is being sucked in. So you can see here Detective Jonathan Shade. He's at a crime scene, checking it out. He sees that it's like a work of art, and he says the serial killer is back. You can see that you've got a dead body hanging upside down right above some type of tray, and it's, as he mentioned, it's like art in a sick way. I know, super morbid. And the cop realizes and kind of remembers that there's always a lot of liquid and blood, and there wasn't really any of that. And that's when he started screaming, "Everybody get away!" And sure enough, that's when it explodes. The body explodes with all this nasty goo, and then what comes out is butterflies. Butterflies from the gut of the dude that was dead, hanging upside down. The detectives are in shock, and they're like, "Yep, for sure, this is the serial killer, the one that always wants to put on some type of show, not a show, but like a work of art." And so now the story goes to Kenneth Neely, the artist. This is the artist right here. He's got this guy named Dave Speakman. You can see in his driver's license there, and he just starts talking to him. And he's like, "Yeah, you know what? My father was a mortician, and I used to go with him every day and look at him do his work." And you would think that he did his work to make the dead people look good for the loved ones. And he says, no, that wasn't the case. His father did it because, I know, so he said that they need to make them good, pretty or beautiful for the kingdom of God. And then, ironically, his dad dies of leprosy. Like, who dies of leprosy anymore? Then he cuts him open, blood splatters, starts dripping, and the guy's, you can see him, he's, starting to faint. And then there is some type of noise by the window, and the window opens, and there it is. You've got Carnage. Carnage says, "I see that you have been following me and leaving me works of art." So that is the story. This is why the serial killer is doing this, making these works of art. It's for Carnage, to get his attention, to let him know that he admires Carnage for the sick, that he is. Now back over to the detective. They find out that somebody is rambling on and on and on about being attacked, almost killed, and in a super morbid way. So detectives show up there to possibly investigate that this is a survivor of the artist. And sure enough, after interviewing the guy, they realize, sure enough, this is him. They ask him a few questions. What's going on? What do you remember? And pretty much he tells them what I just said. And they're like, all right, we're going to have to use that information to track down a son's mortician. A mortician who died of leprosy, and who is their son. So that's where that ends. And then you can see that it goes back to where Carnage was talking to the artist. And so the artist it tells him that he wants to be the next host. That Cassidy's no longer, around, and so he wants to be the next host. And so Carnage is like, you know what? I don't need a host. I've realized that I have power and I don't need a host. But he takes him with him, and forgetting about the guy bleeding on the table, and that's how the guy was able to escape. Earlier he explained how he used a scalpel to cut his restraints and get away. So Carnage shows him Hydra Man how he's got him hemmed up, using his Carnage liquid, has him sucking his powers away, and sure enough, right then and there, he sucks his power away, and now he tells the artist, he's like, look, I don't need a host, but nevertheless, maybe we could make an exception. So maybe at the end of the day, he does take him as a host. And then right then and there, also, the cops realize who this guy is, the artist, because they track him down because of his father who died of leprosy and what the guy in the hospital said. So they know who his true identity. They go and see, they kind of coordinate, well, he's probably in somewhere around these warehouses. They show up, just detective work. They show up, and sure enough, that's where they are. And you can see the huge red portal that is like exploding, and you can see this is where Carnage is with the artist, where they killed Hydra Man to absorb his powers. And this is how it ends. Next issue, you can see right there, it looks like he's got a host inside. So we're curious to see what happens does Carnage really take the offer from the artist, and they combine and become one. It's interesting to see why would he do that, but he does give reference to that Cassidy his ambitions were, those psychotic ones, that weren't his. And now that's last panel, he says that he wants to escape these meager ambitions, Kenneth, that he also, as Carnage, has ambitions, and he says, I am going to find my own meaning, my own beauty in this. And then this is just the first step. So we'll see what happens. With this story. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Is this worth continuing on? I think so. I think it's worth. It's not half bad. I don't think it's like next level, but I'm gonna give this a good 3.5 stars in the Mucho Caliente comic book scale. All right, everybody. You know the deal. Good luck in all your collectible decisions. Let them be profitable and dope.